Hey, welcome back. This is still the camera. I feel like the camera's really off today. Usually I know exactly where to put the camera and I do it subconsciously. Today I got like kind of conscious about it. It's like the you are manually braving sort of thing. But anyway, hi. How you doing? It's Monday Morning Coffee episode number 54, actually, which might be confusing to some of you Spotify viewers because you missed number 53. That was the Charity Week special, but that episode was all over the place. So I figure for audio listeners, that's probably not the best thing. If you do want to watch that, you are an audio listener, you can watch that on the YouTube page, youtube.com/Astucario. But it is not available on Spotify. However, we're back this week. I have a coffee. I have a list of topics. I'm going to keep talking about the topics until I finish the coffee. You know it's an early episode when I still have my my real morning coffee. So usually what I do for this show is I have a morning coffee, I finish it. By that point it's around noon. It's usually time for me to get down to the episode. So I pour myself a new different coffee so that I can start from the beginning and I focus on that coffee. However, today I poured the big mug, and the big mug is, of course, big, and I barely finished. I think I'm like a third of the way done with it. So I was like, you know what, I think this is fair. I don't think this is cheating if I use this mug. I think it's fine to use the big mug, especially if I have all this left. But anyway, right out of the gate, I do want to say we're not doing an armchair detective this week. I know, very sad. The reason for that is I don't feel too bad for it. I'll say that much. The reason for that is because we had a 3-hour long armchair detective last week. Just like how this episode is going to be very short, probably because there is no armchair detective, and I am not going to feel bad because last week was a 3-hour long episode. It's the longest stream I've ever done, I think. Because I think all the other ones were significantly shorter, but I could be wrong on that. So I don't want to do another armchair detective until I finish editing that episode. I'm a little bit behind because, of course, I was on vacation, and then right after I got off vacation, I did Charity Week, which is a bunch of new content that I want to get edited and done. So we might be on hiatus for a while, but I'm going to plan to get it edited as soon as possible. I don't know if it'll be out this Sunday, but I plan on it. It's one of my closer priorities, and then just once that episode gets edited and put up, that's when we will do the next armchair detective will be after that. Of course, I do also need to catch up on a bunch of videos. There's a couple of videos coming out. There is the Roblox Classic Maps. That's not going to include the one that we did on Charity Week, but it's going to include the previous two Roblox Classic Map streams. And then after that is going to be a Hitman 2 video, since we finished Hitman 2 on the Charity stream. So actually, that one's going to be the previous two Hitman 2 streams, and then also the Charity. That one's going to include the Charity stream. Basically, there's a lot of content coming up. I have a lot of stuff to edit, but not a whole lot of stuff to release. And that's, of course, why I had my good friend Shadowluigi64, friend of the show, Shadowluigi64, had the kindness to let me borrow his video of him playing Markiplier's Emoji Challenge 2, the famous Super Mario 64 ROM hack. So I was really worried because there wasn't a new video in 3 weeks because I was on vacation and I didn't have anything set up for this week. But fortunately, Shadowluigi64 came in, right out the gates, and he released what I think is a pretty good video. I think it matches up with a lot of the other content that we've released on this channel. So I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he did it. Thankful. Thank you, Shadowluigi64, for keeping this channel alive. Speaking of keeping the channel alive, I can keep talking about the channel a little bit. So for the YouTube Shorts and on TikTok, for this stuff, we're still going through the Half-Life Alyx we're still going through the Half-Life Alex updates or the Half-Life Alex highlights from that old stream. We're just way behind on the shorts, which is crazy because shorts get uploaded the most frequently. But there's still like there's a huge backlog on everything right now. But that's good. We're not on a shortage of content, that's for sure. I do not understand the metrics on any of the Half-Life Alex videos, and I really, it's beginning to give me an existential crisis as to whether or not I really understand how to get people to click a YouTube short. The House Flipper videos, all for the most part, were around like 500 views to 2,000 views, in that ballpark range for all of them. For Half-Life Alex, the smallest, the least viewed video has 3 views, and the most viewed video has 6,000 views. So it's the whole thing. And I've been going back and forth on the captions too. This is a serious, I don't know if anybody actually watches these, but this is like the one time where it's like, oh, if you actually do watch these and you are silent, I could actually use this feedback for real. Whether or not you appreciate subtitles in a shorts video, because I do to an extent, because I never, if I'm watching a short or a TikTok, I never have the sound on, ever. I'm never watching with sound. I honest to God do not think I have ever played a TikTok with sound on, ever in my life. So I feel like the subtitles are valuable there, because if there's action going on, I don't know what it is. The reason I bring this up is because the most recent one, the penis funny haha video from the Half-Life Alex, I didn't put any subtitles on because the subtitles were a mess, but also I wanted to see, well, maybe this is actually good. Maybe people would prefer it without the subtitles, especially now that TikTok is doing forced subtitles. So now the subtitles, there's like subtitles on top of subtitles. The only problem that I have with the subtitles is that I feel like sometimes there's a hard mix between subtitles that are readable and subtitles that are big enough that they just take up a huge chunk of the screen. You can't actually see what's going on in the actual video. So I'm going to change the subtitles that I have. Again, since I no longer do JBR shorts, I'm going to steal what the JBR shorts look like, because those were like really fine and really small, but like very legible. Very, very, not profound. What's a good word for that? Not pretentious either, but like the middle point between those two words is what I'm trying to say, but I don't remember what the word is. Professional. That's what it is. The midpoint between profound and pretentious is professional. That is true. They look a little bit more professional, and I feel like that would actually work well with these videos, at least in terms of like, you know, being able to see what I'm saying. So I'm going to try and change that if I remember, but I mean, I'm doing JBR short, or I'm doing a Sukuri shorts like right after this, so hopefully I do remember that. I'm hoping. And then live for this week, I think we're gonna go back, like I said at the end of the Charity Week streams. I'm glad I did that experiment. It got me to understand kind of my limit for streaming. I think I could easily do 2 hours for a single stream and like 2 days a week. So sticking with the 2 days a week formula, and then 2 hours. But what I'll do, because I did really like that formula of doing 2 different streams. One's a 1 hour block, the other is another 1 hour block. I feel like that formula actually worked really well for all this. So I'm gonna try and do that these next couple of weeks as we get back to doing just normal streams. And I'm already, but like I said, backlogs all around. I have a huge backlog of games that I want to play. This week, we're going to continue Roblox Classic Maps. We're going to start Flash games, which is something that I've promised in the past, that we were going to go on Flashpoint and just start playing random ass Flash games. And I figured now that we've started Roblox Classic Maps, this is a good time as any to start going down that list. And hopefully I don't get banned, because unlike Roblox, some of the Flash games probably have some sort of 18 plus content, even though they're not marked for it. So I do have to be kind of careful. But if it gets banned off YouTube, it'll be on the Patreon, as you know very well. And then also this week, speaking of being banned from YouTube and available on the Patreon, JFK Reloaded. I mean, this is John F. Kennedy assassination. That game is insane. I've recently re-downloaded it. I've been playing it a little bit. I'm like, I have to stop playing. I have to physically stop myself from playing this because I need to play this on stream because it is insane. It is absolutely fucking nutty. That game, I'm telling you, it's not just a meme controversial game about the JFK assassination. Honestly, I don't know what that game has to do at all with the JFK assassination. I don't understand what the connection is. But you'll understand when we play that game. You'll understand when we play that game. And then another game, this is the only game that I actually have to install this week, so I do need to remember to install it, is since we have finished Ground Zeroes, we need to move on to the big shit. Can I just install this now? Will it tank my stream if I just start installing this? Like, I might as well, fuck them. Phantom Pain. We're going to start Phantom Pain. So I've beaten Phantom Pain. This is one of the few games on stream. Well, I beat Hitman also, and I'm playing Hitman on stream. Phantom Pain I have 100%ed on PS4 on launch. Well, I mean, I didn't 100% the entire game on the launch day, but you understand what I'm saying. I played that game on launch. I then proceeded to 100% it. I really enjoyed the gameplay. We will be skipping every cutscene because I don't give a shit about the plot in that game. Well, the intro's kind of cool, so we'll watch the intro. But everything else, I'm skipping all the cutscenes. I'm just focused on playing the game itself because the game itself is really, really good. It's just the story sucks, but the game is actually really good. So, looking forward to that. That's going to be really fun. It's been a very long time. Like I said, that game came out in 2015. I think I 100%ed in 2016, 2017. So it's been a very long time since I've played that game formally. And just same with Ground Zeroes. The Ground Zeroes was me getting back into the groove of things. Now, we're starting. I've never played on PC before, by the way. I've only ever played on PS4, which is a big reason for why I'm doing this in the first place, because I got those games for free for somewhere. I don't actually remember where I got those games from, but I don't know, someone gifted them to me or I got them through some giveaway. I was like, I might as well have another copy on PC just in case I'm ever feeling it. And now with the Steam Deck, of course, you can play those games on the Steam. I think they're Steam Deck verified. Like, they are like, please play this on Steam Deck, which is cool. So those are games that we're going to be playing this week, and then, I'll keep the schedule to that for now. I'm definitely lowering now that we're not doing as much for JBR, because of course JBR has kind of changed its formula to be more like we're just trying to figure out smaller projects to work on and figure out what people really want rather than just trying to force a bunch of stuff. I'm very glad I've made that change because it has freed up my schedule by a lot for content, because now I'm not doing any JBR content. I don't need to do any content marketing for JBR anymore because that's kind of autonomous. So now, all I gotta do is focus on this sort of stuff. So that's it for Astukaria. That's it for this channel. In terms of the creative content, we got Guardians of Enthia still going on the Substack. I've actually changed where I'm writing Guardians of Enthia, because before I was taking the notes, the planning notes that I had written down all those years ago, and I put them into pseudo-write to automatically be written. I've decided pseudo-write's not that great. And although I really, really like its story planning features and how it's really designed to, like, for book writing, I just don't think the generations are good enough. And so I've moved, I guess you could say, back to Novel AI, but I've never used, I've used Novel AI a ton, but I've never used it for book writing because it's not as conducive to book writing. It's more of like a role play thing. But I feel like I could use it because the writing is just better on Novel AI. And of course, Novel AI is the standard for that sort of stuff. So I'm experimenting with it, and hopefully it works. I mean, I'm not writing all that shit myself. Let me tell you, boys and girls I can write. All the other ones, I don't give a fuck. some fantasy novel series I wrote when I was in high school. Yeah, I'm not writing that all by hand. That's going to be put through an AI in order for it to be released. Boys and Girls is fine. Baby Bird is fine also, but of course Baby Bird is released, which by the way it's been doing very good. I've been noticing on the Pinterest, things have been blowing up on the Pinterest, which is very interesting. I see pretty much all of the series that are on Pinterest: Baby Bird, Boys and Girls, and Phil and the Rhythm. Which of course Phil and the Rhythm is also still active on the TikTok and on the main channel, Ada Sukri. They've been blowing up. They've been blowing up on Pinterest as well. Good to see it. The art Instagram is still going good. I mentioned this very briefly last week, but Boys and Girls Part 2 is now being released on the I guess I shouldn't call the WordPress blog, the jacob-robinson.com now has Boys and Girls Part 2 being released on it. That is going to be bi-weekly. You're going to get a chapter every bi-week, as long as I stay on top of stuff. And those are going to be kind of like first draft run-throughs. Once I finish all that and they're all released on jacob-robinson.com, I will then start the editing process, get rid of all of them except for like 10 of them. You'll have the edited 10 versions that are available for free, and then you gotta pay for the book. And that's it. That's basically how that Boys and Girls Part 2 thing works, but I'll keep talking about it. And it's still, I don't think the official first part has come out yet. It's just the briefing of like the story so far that they have at the beginning of a Part 2 of a book. That's where it is. That's what it is. And I think the next chapter is the prologue chapter, and then it's the first chapter. So we still have some time until that really gets like actually started. So that's that. I think that's it for creative. Yeah, Phil and the Rhythm. Been a while since we had a Phil and the Rhythm. I noticed. I kind of feel bad for all those people who are kind of hung out and dry, who don't watch this show or any of the other content on here, because we didn't have one. Well, we had one last week, but we didn't have any the 2 weeks prior. It's been on a 2-week hiatus, which I've talked about here. But that's an issue of like TikTok and stuff, is that there's no real easy way to communicate like a quick note of like, hey, there's not going to be one of these for a couple of weeks. There doesn't seem to be any conducive way to doing that. Which is kind of sad. Whoa, I almost spilled that. But hey, remember, what spill count are we at? 3? 3 times I've spilled this coffee so far on Monday Morning Coffee. We have to count the one that happened on Charity Week. If you're on Spotify, you missed a good spill. A very confusing, I still don't understand how I spilled that coffee everywhere. Spill. Oh, the shirt is fine, by the way, in case you were worried about that for whatever reason. The shirt that I spilled like a gallon of coffee on, surprisingly, still fine. It's probably because I put the stain remover on so quickly after it kind of went to shit. But if I'm done, well, let's talk about JBR a little bit, I guess. So JBR, of course, now the new formula for JBR is that it's we're making tools, just like general micro projects. You can vote on which ones you want to see be made on Product Hunt. Currently going for this week is the language mastery cards, which seem to be in first place right now. That is basically just flashcards for learning kind of like the 20% of a language to get like 80% of the knowledge is a good way to look at it. Very basic, like here's how the grammar works, here's how the vocab works, basically to get you up to speed as quickly as possible. That's what those mastery cards are all about. That seems to be in first place right now. We also have Artemis Research, which is trading systems and proven investing systems that I actually personally use. That's also available. The one that was released, I guess spoilers, the one that's released on Tuesday is the Grants database. So if you're familiar with JBR, you know we used to have the Grants database as part of that whole offering. We've now kind of split it off because we're trying to figure out which parts are the most popular on their own. But yeah, those are the main things that are in the docket for JBR right now. But with that all out of the way, we covered Stukario, we covered this channel, we covered the creative stuff, and then we covered JBR. So like I said, it's going to be a shorter video. It's going to be shorter until we get that Armchair Detective all edited and set. But like I said, I don't feel bad. It's 3 hours. So I'm allowed to have the short. That means, fun fact, the shortest episode of the show ever. I looked it up after I did the one right before last week's, because that one was 9 minutes long, because it was basically just me saying like, hey, I'm going to be busy this week because I'm going to be on vacation, but here you go. That one, there was one before it that was 7 minutes. That's the shortest one. I don't even know why I did that if it's only going to be 7 minutes. And this most recent one was 3 hours, so that's the longest one ever. So we're at a good mixing point now. I feel like we're starting to get. I'm starting to redeem myself. I feel like for all of those like 15 to 20 minute long Monday morning coffees. But hey, you know what the name of the show is, or you know the gimmick of the show. The coffee's empty, so I am legally am allowed. I no longer have to. I'm no longer legally contracted to be here. So we'll be back later this week. Like I said, I already gave you the docket. The Flash game streams will be starting. Roblox Classic Maps, Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, and JFK Reloaded. It's going to be a stacked week. Should be Tuesday and Thursday, but might be Wednesday and Thursday. Don't know when the streams go live. And I mean, if you miss it, you can always see the VODs. Now the VODs are public. But yeah, did we ever talk about that? No, we definitely talked about that on Monday Morning Coffee. The VODs are now public because it's easier. Oh, I did. I made a big rant about that one week. I don't remember which week it was. But yeah, no, I did talk about that. The VODs are now public now because YouTube makes a big fucking mess if you make them unlisted or private. So it's easier for me to just like always keep them public and just let them be as they were. Anyway, I'll see you later this week.